I finally decided to fight Markoth without jumping, I immediately started questioning every decision that led me to this moment. The arena was tiny, Markoth was nowhere to be seen, and spears were coming from every direction. At first, I thought the challenge would be simple, just stay on the platform and avoid jumping. Then reality hit me. Any spears that came in horizontally was basically unavoidable. Some of them didn't just damage me, they knocked me straight into the abyss. And if the spears weren't enough, Markoth himself kept randomly drifting onto me. After only a few attempts, I was already wondering, did I just find a challenge that's actually impossible? But then I remembered something. I've had this exact same feeling before, back when I was fighting GORB without jumping. The fights weren't identical. Markoth was significantly more chaotic, more dangerous, and honestly, much more unfair. But the core problem was surprisingly similar. I needed a way to survive a fight where reaching the boss consistently was nearly impossible. So I brought back the same strategy that had saved me against GORB. Grubber's Elegy for long range damage, Grub Song for extra soul generation, quick focus and deep focus. The idea was simple. Turn every bit of soul into as much health as possible. And surprisingly, it worked, because Markoth has one very important weakness. Whenever he expands his shield, he completely stops summoning spears. The first time I noticed that, it felt like discovering buried treasure. Those few seconds gave me enough time to heal 2, sometimes even 3 times. And thanks to deep focus, that usually brought me right back to full health. But there was an even better detail. The shield doesn't return through the exact same path it was just traveled, meaning I could stand where it had already passed and safely heal while it was away. For the first time, the fight actually felt possible, at least until the spears became the problem again. Because no matter how much I healed, some spear patterns was simply impossible to dodge from the platform. So I started doing something that looked like completely ridiculous. Whenever I saw a spear that was guaranteed to hit me, I shadow dashed through it and intentionally threw myself into the abyss. It sounds insane, but falling gave me invulnerability for longer, and that often prevented another hit later, which somehow made it worth it. The strategy kept improving, the attempts kept getting longer, and eventually I got confident enough to try speeding things up. I started pogoing Markoth, which turned out to be a terrible idea. I lost huge amounts of health, risked the entire run, and gained almost nothing in return. So I went back to patience, and patience was exactly what this fight demanded, because the second phase is absolute chaos. Twice the spears, 2 shields, and somehow even less room for mistakes. Every attempt felt like it could end at any moment. Then I finally did it, or at least I thought I did, because the first time I won the fight, Markoth died, and so did I, at the exact same time. I don't think I've ever been that frustrated on Hollow Knight for real. After everything the challenge had already put me through, the game found one last way to deny me the victory, and that wasn't the end. I went back in, played slower, focused even more on healing opportunities, stopped forcing damage, and on the very next successful attempt, everything finally came together. A nearly flawless fight, ton of patience, a challenge that genuinely felt impossible at the start, finally beaten without ever jumping. And while this was easily the hardest challenge I've completed so far, it wasn't the first impossible looking fight I've managed to overcome. Do you remember GORB? That's where a lot of this strategy was born. And if you enjoyed watching me suffer through this challenge, you'll probably enjoy that one too. I'll leave a video on the screen right now for you to go check. See you there!